My 27 female husband, 38 male of 3 years, found me cheating a year ago, and I think he is cheating on me now. Before I begin anything, I want to say that my husband has treated me fine after he found out I cheated on him. I know what I did was wrong, and he could have left me, but he decided to work through it. I cheated on my husband when I went on a bachelorette party out in Miami. I had a few too many drinks, lost track of my girlfriends, and ended up sleeping with someone who looked really similar to my husband. When I woke up the next day, I was devastated. The man I slept with was not actually my husband, but some stranger that had a striking resemblance. I left, returned to the hotel our group was staying at, and didn't tell anyone except for one of my friends, so I thought. When I got back home, I smiled and tried to push what happened out of my mind. A few weeks later, my husband called me at work and asked to see me at lunch. He was angry. I could tell because his face was calm but had a red color to his ears and his jaw was clenched. I revealed that he had come to find out I had cheated on him during the party and to explain myself. I broke down in tears. I told him about having too many drinks, thinking the man I was dancing with and slept with was him, and how it was all my fault. My husband left and he didn't come home for a week. I was mortified. I thought he had left, or worse, gone to find the man I slept with. He came back to the house and explained to me that there would be no more slip ups, and that I should probably stop drinking if I didn't know how to control myself. From that day, I haven't touched a drop of alcohol and have been sober for almost 2 years. But something in my husband changed. He was already extremely attractive to me, and even though he was nearing 40 and has a high stress job, he looked like he was in his mid 20s. I think he must have thought I cheated on him because I thought he wasn't fit or attractive, and he started going to the gym twice as much as he regularly did. He cleaned up his diet, started going meditation. It was really enticing. On top of that, however, his previous interest in me began to dwindle. He started focusing more on his work. He wanted to make partner at his firm was what he told me. In order to do that, he had to take a lot of social meeting as well. It's who you know, darling, is what he would say. Besides these, he started going out more with friends too, and some of these were women. I met some of them one time at a party, and a lot of the women were as attractive as I think I am. It turns out a lot of them are models and his firm represented. Some of them for larger corporate deals or something along those lines. I didn't think much of it, but I took note of my husband during that party and noticed that all the women there loved talking to him, and they would shamelessly flirt with him in front of me. He wasn't really reciprocating much, but I noticed a few winks and smiles. He was clearly enjoying himself. That was my wake up call. I started thinking about our relationship, what I was doing wrong, if he was so bold to flirt like that in front of me. Then God knows that is happening behind closed doors. I started to have sex with him more often, bring him lunch as a surprise at work, and he started to take more note of me. He used to take me on dates all the time before I cheated on him, but once I put in much more effort after that party, he took me on some more surprise dates. However, I am still concerned. He is still going to these social gatherings, still talking with all those pretty women, and still trying to make himself more attractive. He even hired a former bodybuilder to help keep his physique in top of shape. I told him that I am happy with how he looks and haven't thought he looked any sexier, and he said, "Thanks, babe, but I gotta keep looking good to keep the charm." The charm, I think my husband is cheating on me. That is probably what all these social calls are for. That is why he feels the need to look more sexy, more fit. I tried bringing up why he had to see all those women on a regular basis and keep a close friendship with them. And he told me not to worry, it's not a bachelor party. I am not sure what to do. I don't know if he is cheating on me or how to get him more interested in me. I feel like I have played all my cards at a table and he still has a whole hand hidden up his sleeve. My male 26, why female 26 isn't happy. My wife and I met close to 6 years ago. Crazy over each other and really intimate. After we got engaged, the intimacy started to die down, and a couple months before the wedding, my wife got off all sexual acts, stating she wanted to wait until we got married. After getting married, that didn't change. She stated she just didn't have the hormones she had when we were young and crazy, and her sexual drive just wasn't there. I also thought it could be related to her weight gain, self esteem issues. But I just said, as long as nothing was wrong with us, I can live with it. The first year of our marriage turned out to be terrible. A lot of arguments and disagreements. She got a job offer where she had to leave 2 hours away for training and ended up being there for months and making no effort to come back home. She eventually told me she wasn't happy. She said she felt like I was the holding my weight around a house and she always had to tell me what to do. So I really worked on changing and managed to contribute a lot more around the house. Laundry, cleaning, cooking, and so on. Things drastically changed and it seemed to be back to normal and even better. Still not really intimate. The second year came around and we seemed to be continuing to do well. We got involved in activities together and didn't really fight much at all. The only problem was she wanted to move. She had a lot of bad memories from the area she grew up in and wanted to get away from there. So we agreed to move and she wanted to move back to my hometown. So we did. We ended up moving with my parents for a couple of months to save up and look for a house. It wasn't easy because obviously we are living in someone else's house and trying to abide by their living styles. My wife and stepmom weren't vibing well because my stepmom said she didn't contribute around the house like everyone else and was lazy. After 3 months total, we ended up moving out and into a house we bought together. After about a month, in the house her father flew up with her niece to stay and visit. Well, coronavirus hit and they ended up staying for a month and a half because they couldn't get flight back. It was fine, but we weren't very intimate while her father was here. I expected that. Anyways, her father finally finds the flight back, but her niece ends up staying here for a couple months so we can watch her while her father works. I agreed to it, but it did put some stress into our marriage. Nothing seemed wrong though. We still weren't fighting and just seemed like we were working through things together. Well, 3 weeks ago, my wife sits me down and says she isn't happy and doesn't feel in love. But she loves me. She feels like we are just great roommates and can get stuff done. She doesn't like that we aren't intimate and she feels like she was just don't have a romantic connection. I'm puzzled because I addressed that shortly after we were married and when I brought up, she said she just didn't realize it until now. On top of that, I am always taking care on our dates and spending time with her. So it wasn't like I neglect that romantic part of our relationship. So we agreed to get some marriage books and try that. If that doesn't work, move to counseling. We got the books about a week ago. I've been reading and learning new things to apply. But when I talk to her about things we can try, She gets defensive and says things like, "You think you're the guru now?" And when I ask her if she has read any of the books, she said she hasn't been reading. She said she doesn't even feel like fixing things. She doesn't know what she wants to do. I keep telling her I can put 110% into this. But if she doesn't put any effort into it, or our marriage will continue to fail. I'm just so confused. I have been working so hard and putting forth so much effort. I work from home, I do 80% of the housework, cook the meals, take care of our niece, take care of the pets, pay the bills, read through these marriage books, and still make time for her when she gets home to try to fulfill her needs. I don't know what else to do. Can someone give me guidance? I feel like I am being a great spouse, but am I just blind to my own shortcomings? I really want to fix it, and will do whatever it takes. Thank you for taking time to read through all this and help.